All right. Welcome, everybody. What's going on? It's Rodrigo here, and we're going to be with Nick Shaheen, lead trader at the Options Inner Circle chat room, where he's pretty much trading the entire day with members. I know that Nick just finished a session right now that he does every Sunday. So a big shout out to Derek, Daniel in the house. What's going on, folks? Fred, Grant, Frank, Rose. Good to see you guys. Also on the YouTube side, Gary J. Ronald, Stacy. We're all good to go here. So let's go ahead and bring on Mr. Nick Shaheen so that we can cover all these trade ideas, options, education, setups, contracts. We're going to talk about a lot of different topics today. Let's bring him on.
Hey.
What's going on, Nick? How's everything going there?
Going pretty good. Just grabbing a bite to eat because I didn't eat breakfast and I just finished with the members. So busy Sunday, but it's fun kind of busy. I get to do homework without the pressures of having to cover the market live for the members. So this is a good opportunity to work the weekend, but without the pressure of time right behind me.
Right.
So excited about today. And I think we're approaching it from the standpoint of this is a difficult market for professionals, especially if you're a hedge funds, you're being whipsawed left and right. Believe it or not, investors like you and me have an easier time adjusting if we just use caution and simple logic and use no emotions or as little emotion as possible. I know sometimes it's difficult, but it is doable. And hopefully today I'll plant the seeds, multiple, of what not to do during those tricky times.
Right. So before we start everything here, put a 1 in the chat if this is your first time watching any of these sessions, and put a 2 if you've already been here before. I know there's a couple regulars there, Derek. So just let us know in the chat, and we'll know pretty much, where we can take the conversation, so we know what to cover. A bunch of 1s, Nick, which is good.
Yeah, I'm looking.
Yeah, no, these are definitely different markets. It's not like 2020, everything was going up. Even the hedge funds, everybody, Tiger Global, everybody's is
so we have a whole bunch of 1s, which is good. That means we don't have a lot of bad habits, maybe, or we can actually give you information, very basic information, as a takeaway from today's you spending time. And in return, I'm going to offer you reasons why to join a group. And my group is as good as any, if not better, from the standpoint of you need a group. You cannot do this alone. You have bad habits. Susan, I got you. So what we do is to cut the bad habits. You have to do the right thing all the time. And there's no easier way to do it than to have somebody screaming in your ear all day, every day. Not everybody can be in the live room, but luckily that's the extra stuff. The main stuff is not in the live room. The live room, which is at least 9 hours a day of me sharing my screen, like you'll see in a minute, and me talking. I won't share my video because at 5 in the morning, I probably would not look this pretty. So seriously though, we have about 300 plus or minus 20 traders in the room at all times every day, no joke. So we're doing something right. And that number is almost 400 around Fed days. Speaking of the Fed,
right.
They are the disruptors. They are the only fear in the market. If you say to the market that the Fed is not doing anything, the market would rally because we don't have bad fundamentals. In fact, hey, Muhammad, in fact, the reason the Fed is doing what it's doing is because the market is too strong. And they're literally trying to destroy the market. Have you ever met a government that actively wants to destroy its own market? This is the most bizarre thing I've ever seen. Anyway, the words that the Fed uses, he wants to inflict pain in order to fix the mistake he helped create. He didn't create all of it, Powell, but he definitely contributed with very loose monetary policies for a very long time. Anyway, Long story short, it is a challenging condition, market conditions that we're in. Luckily, we have logic, we have some fundamentals, and we have heavy charting that allow us to at least be able to move with the flow. So the charts have not lied to us often, and we are very dependent on the charts in order not to make the easy mistakes we'll go through a few of them. If you want, I can take over and share my screen so we can talk.
Yeah, let's go ahead and rip it. And yeah, for those that have questions, yes, Nick Shaheen pretty much, runs the entire chat room there Monday to Friday. It's live trading, coaching, education. all
So
that.
let's start with the environment. I'm here for you if you want me all day, every day. Okay. And that is not part of the service initially. This was the gravy that we added last year. I added on a whim. I said, let's try it for 3 days, and we never stopped it. It takes up my entire day. I'm sharing my screen like you're watching now, plus 3 or 4 more. I'm sharing the mic. I'm not sharing my camera, but I promise you, if you're able to stay with us throughout the day, if you're a fast trader, you're going to have 10 to 15 attempts. If you're a slower trader like me, you will have 1 or 2 attempts at making 20 to 25% every day. If you're a slower trader like me, also, you will have daily setups that have weeks. So if you cannot be here and you can simply just read a write-up, 2 write-ups a day or 1 write-up a day at your own leisure, at your own time, nothing to do with the live room, you will also get 1 trade a day or setup almost a day of something that could work out without much babysitting. So that's why I started the program. I don't know, 2011, I think. Over 10 years ago with Benzinga, I started a program about credit spreads, which don't require much. And you can implement my strategies through other disciplines, but I choose credit spreads because it's very, very simply stated, it's easier for me to tell you with confidence where a stock is not likely to go, rather where it's going to go at by what time. Okay, so we can do that, but it's easier to find areas where it's not going to go. And let's make some money off of that. Look, for example, if somebody is super bearish to stock, I do homework, I disagree, I'll argue with them and I'll sell them the lottery ticket and they will lose. Conversely, if somebody's super positive stock, too excited, I'll look at the homework, and if it's not likely going to go there, I'll sell them that lottery ticket. For me to make money where I don't even need a rally or a drop, I just need time to pass and I'll win. So I use options in the live room. I have all disciplines. I have people that trade the futures, people that trade equities, they jump into stock, they get out of a stock, investment or fast, it doesn't matter. I have people that use a blend of everything. So I have used a blend of everything this year. I bought more shares than I have in a long time because I found some things that hit the bottom, in my opinion, and they're cheap enough. For example, SoFi, I think it's a speculative bet, but I think it's misunderstood, and I think it has a long-term good prognosis. Palantir as well. I could buy calls, or I could just buy some shares where they're almost priced as a call. The stock is under $10, and then I don't have to worry about time. And Upstart was one of them as well. So speculative bets, I don't load up on all of them, and I choose 1 or 2 because they all trade the same. So we'll see over time if I'm right or wrong. Those are speculative bets. And it's not such a speculative bet would be Intel. I don't think I've ever seen Intel this cheap before. That doesn't mean it can't fall more. It just means that if I nibble now on shares, I'm not likely committing a grave financial mistake. Okay, so over the period of time, it's still a monster. It's still the huge in the field. It's bigger than AMD and NVIDIA put together, I think twice still on top of each other. Okay, so in the live room, if you can be there, oh my gosh, the learning, you're going to not believe your eyes how much you're going to learn, because I'm learning every day. I promise you, this month and last month, I've added 2 disciplines to my repertoire. Now, I don't need them to trade, but having them makes my trades that much better for me. My guess is more accurate. So although I don't need the disciplines I learned, I'm excited I did, and you will have the opportunity to learn them every day. You don't need to trade fast, but if you can be in the room, we discuss, let's put it this way, on Thursday and Friday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, I discuss diagonals and calendars to death, and I put them in real life action. For example, Netflix, the trade tripled at the open, and it wasn't a lot of risk. And the concept is using the implied volatility where people are too exuberant. So the options for the earnings report was huge, very expensive. So at the open, somebody that bought calls that day didn't make as much money as somebody that bought calls out in time, because they didn't pay up a premium for those. And so they bought it at a bargain. It's like buying a pair of shoes now, or buying a pair of shoes now and saying, I don't want delivery until 3 weeks from now, and paying less for the same shoe. It's a loosely interpreted concept with that implied volatility. Okay, so what today I'm going to try to get you is to, one, get some good habits in your pocket of knowledge, and trying to convince you, entice you to give us a shot. So Benzinga and I have worked together for over a decade because I like the way they do business, and I'm pretty sure they like the way I do business, and the market likes us together because they keep coming back. We wouldn't be here for that long if we didn't do something right. I wouldn't have 300 people in the room come back every morning if I was a jerk and them not learning anything. So I do have my opinions, and so do they. And the result is ideas from multiple people. Many people trade. Many people post ideas. Some are too fast for me, but I cover them. Like, I hear people in there to say, the S&P is testing VWAP. I'll interpret, the person that posts it says it, I know what they mean. I'll explain it in plain, simple English, what it means to somebody watching the chart that day. And so the opportunities come from not just me, from you. So the more people we have in there, the different styles, the more different style, diverse the styles, the more opportunity we have to all make money. I made money in the last 2 weeks from other people's ideas. One major one was Baba. Somebody jumped in and said, I'm trying to remember the words he said. Baba looks delicious or something like that. So I asked why, and then I looked at the chart. I was like, oh, I agree. I jumped on calls. They immediately, within 15 minutes, they made 50% return. So that was a good move. And it wasn't my idea. What I saw, they mentioned it, I saw it, and we pounced. Okay, so what can we do today? I'm going to start by telling you a few rules that you should have as a trader / investor, whatever. And they're going to sound ridiculous, but they are totally simple and easy for anybody to do, regardless of how advanced you are or not. So rule number one before you take a trade, can anybody tell me what rule number one should be? I'm going to wait a little bit and then I'll start talking. Let me see. Research, okay. I like George. Know your risk. That's part of it. Risk management is part of it. We'll get there. We'll get there. Somebody said it, NYNT, but they missaid it. Don't marry stocks. All good rules. All Lily, I love it. All good rules. So number one is, when you take a position, make sure you have a good reason. NT, I usually say. Somebody put the initials, the acronym there. So if you don't have no trigger, no trade. So yes, if you don't have a reason to be long or short the stock, don't take it. And that can be a thesis. It doesn't have to be something on the chart. Know your exit, also good. So if you don't have a reason, don't take it. If you cannot tell me why you're long. So when I get somebody that says, Nick, I have a problem, I have this trade and it's going south, what should I do? My first question is, why did you take the trade? And I really want to know why they took the trade, to see if that reason's still there, or also to see if they had a reason or were they winging it. If they didn't have a reason, they started by just guessing. They're winging it. Not a good plan. Like, I took it because I thought they were going to do blah, blah, blah. If that blah, blah, blah comes and goes and the stock didn't do anything, you shouldn't be in that trade anymore, or investment. Okay, so this part is so important. If you cannot, here's the litmus test. I use my mom. She's 90 something and her limit on funds, because Lebanon is broke and her money in the bank is toast. So if I would consider taking money from her to put it in that trade, okay, then I legitimately believe in that trade and I must have a reason for it. But if I cannot tell her, hey, listen, I want to put that money in that stock, and she says why, and I cannot tell her why, I shouldn't put my money in it either. So that's important. NT. Remember that. It's a stupid acronym, but it will keep you out of trouble. Okay, so second part, you guys guessed it. You said a whole bunch of things about risk. Okay, so risk. Let me spend a few minutes here on risk. It's super important. So by now, you guys should have a piece of paper, and you should put 1, 2, 3. So 1 is this one. If you don't have a reason for a specific position, you shouldn't have that position on. Okay. Now risk, that's the second thing. So risk is important, but I'm begging you to listen and really understand the two major segments inside of this. People say, I manage risk. Almost 99% of you that said that are thinking, how much can I lose? That's not the part you manage. That's the part you make a decision on. So risk is two pieces. One, how much money am I willing to lose on this trade? That's not a management decision. That is a decision of whether I take it or not. The equivalent of that decision would be somebody saying, hey, Nick, can you jump from here to there? My first question is, let me see how deep it is in between those two. Because if it's death, no, I'm not willing to try at all. If it's okay, it's only just a couple of feet. Yeah, sure, I'll give it a shot. So that is that. If losing means your account is blown, don't take it. That's too much risk for me. That's gambling. That's not risk. So how much to lose? What's the maximum loss? What's the maximum damage? That's not a management decision. That's a decision whether you take it or not. The management decision is when you take a trade, when you have a reason, when you determine how much you want to risk. The next step is, where do you place that risk? In options, it's where. In other terms, it's what are my odds of success? So when you take a position, if you buy shares in stock ABC, you must in your mind have a number saying, I have a 70% chance of success or something. It's an arbitrary number that you pick. Now, realistically, you're at 50-50 odds. The person that sells you the shares thinks that you're an idiot, and vice versa. Otherwise, you're buying them because you think it's going up. They're selling them because they think it's not likely to go up. Who wins? Time will tell, right? So that is your odds. You might give yourself some better odds because you did homework and you found out ... Luckily, in options, that number is a piece. It's right off the page. I don't have to guess, and I'll show you what it is. It's right off the page, which makes options so easy to use. Yes, Jacob. And here's the thing. Let's say you're not an options trader. You should know that number. I'll give you an example. My brother is not an options trader. He's a surgeon. If he tells me, I think I'm going to buy some more Apple because I think it's going to go to 175 in 2 months, I can go to the options table for 2 months from now and tell him exactly what the market makers who manipulate the markets think of that. So if the market makers say there's like a 10% chance it happens, I'll tell them, listen, you better expand your time horizon because they say it's not likely. Okay. So it's an opportunity for you to learn options without needing to trade options. It just makes you that much smarter in trading. Like you heard people say last week, okay, so Friday, we had an incredible Friday, right? Going into Friday, everybody was sure that we were going to crash. And I was sure we were not. The market was loaded with puts. First of all, don't they say most options expire worthless, which in logic means that those puts are not going to get paid out. So price was going to stay above those puts. Moreover, midday, those puts are pretty much dead. So the dealer who placed those puts can stop shorting markets because they don't have to balance that position. So that's an imbalance that gets created. That's why the stock market, partially why the stock market rallied so hard. So there are things that you can tell from the options market that help you trade non-options positions. Okay, so habit number 1, I want you to add NT. Habit number 2, this is a must. You can't skip that one. Risk. How much am I going to risk? Make sure it's not going to blow you out. Okay. And part 2 of risk is, what are your odds of success? If you don't assign yourself that number, how do you determine when to close that position. I'll give you an example. So if I buy a call or a put in options, if you don't know what that means, you will find out in a minute. Okay, and I start out with my odds being 80% of success, 80% chance of success. And then that mathematically drops because the delta changes on the sheet to say 30% chance. Suddenly now I don't like my odds. So I have to do something with my risk, take it off or change position. So this one would help me be successful at not letting an investment go to waste. Now, trading options, they say options are riskier than stocks. That is false. They can be riskier than stocks because they can be a lot more profitable than stocks. So with potential comes risk. So you can make a lot of money, you can lose a lot of money. You have that opportunity. Okay, so you have to be surgical with that part. If you're not surgical with your reasons why, you're not surgical with that part, the odds, you're going to lose a lot of money unless you're super lucky. So I have ways to flip that. I like to sell options more than buy them. So then the burden of proof is, so to speak, on the buyer. You better be really good when you're buying from me to beat me, because I use logic, I use odds in my favor, I use time is on my side. So I lose sometimes on credit spreads. For example, 2 weeks ago, I had a set of credit spreads that all came under fire in 1 week. And if somebody waited for the last minute to manage the risk, they got in trouble. But they immediately made money on Monday. So even when I was wrong, the management of that wrong position was only temporary, and then they all played out, all of them. So I'll give you an example. I had sold a put spread in Amazon at 108. Had I been assigned 108 stock on Friday, the Monday after it opened, I would have made $3 a share like that. Okay. And I had the opportunity to close the position for a win on Friday morning. So there are ways to enhance your situation where my risk really requires a complete debacle for me to lose money. So I'm pretty conservative that way. In real life, I am not conservative. I fight for sport. I have a black eye still from 2 weeks ago. Yesterday, I almost got cut in my forehead because I took a knee to the face. So when it comes to finance, I am chicken. So I play super conservative and I put the numbers on my side. All right. So rule number 1, put it on a piece of paper, NT. If you don't have a reason, don't take the trade. Rule number 2, define your risk to where it doesn't blow you out. How much can I lose? And define your odds where the odds are in your favor. If you're buying calls and puts and the deltas are and they're cheap, then you need a miracle to win. I'll give you an example alternative. Let's say if you already trade options and you spend $500 taking a risk on a call or a put that is like 50 cents. That's a cheap call or put. Why not spend that same $500? I'm not telling you to spend more and buy half as many puts lower for more money. So you increase the odds of success. You're not increasing the risk. So you keep that risk amount the same. But this, you double that. You double your odds of success, but you keep the maximum risk. So instead of doing 10 contracts here, you do fewer contracts for the same amount of money. I'll show you a visual in a little bit. And that's the same concept in defense as well. We can also address that in a little bit. All right, so these 2 things, you must put it on sticky note before you do anything.
Right. The other thing that I would add there, Nick, is to to not trade alone, right? Because many times
we started with that. We started with that. Do not trade alone. Listen, let's say you have a position you're thinking of taking. You jump into the live room. You can direct message me. I can show you a picture of what it looks like. You can direct message me and you say, Nick, I'm thinking about this. What do you think? What are your thoughts? I'll tell you this is a great idea. I'll join you. Or no. How about doing this? Why this and why that? So then it's just like you having me on retainer to review your positions before taking them. Let's say you have a problem decision and problem trade and it requires immediate attention. I'm there with my voice. Let's say you're going to put a position on and you messed up the entry and you did something you don't understand. They send me a direct message of a picture, a screenshot saying, what is this? Is this the trade? Does this look right? What do you think of this? And you have immediate answers. Let's say you're in the live room and you say, I'm going along Visa, like right there. Somebody will say, oh, great idea. And then you'll have 2 or 3 people. No, don't. We have earnings coming up. Oh, shoot, I didn't pay attention. Okay, those little things. And we have a whole bunch of people looking out for unusual options activities from all angles. We have services we pay for that. Benzinga is one of them. We have outside services that tell us algo flow. People are monitoring algo. We have people that monitor chatter in like Wall Street Bets type of a stock, meme stocks. They're very good. Like last week, they were all over those meme stocks that spiked. I forgot what they were. So anyway, we have a lot of different disciplines all blending into one giant room where there's not one jerk in there. There are some people that have differences of opinion and they like josh each other, but kiddingly, like in a nice fashion. And everybody knows my standpoint of things, and not everybody agrees to my logic, and they're allowed to have their own opinion in there. So it's a good basket of opinions that kind of give us a blend of the market. So the other day I was with a meeting with other Benzinga experts, and a couple of the Wall Street experts, they expressed their opinion that they didn't see any fear. I disagreed, but they were thinking along the lines of VIX and capitulation orders or whatever, something behind the scenes. I am not from Wall Street. I'm an engineer who figured this stuff out on my own, and I trade with non-Wall Street people. So I thought my comment was, holy cow, I have 300 people live here and hundreds more in a chat room that's not live. And I can assure you there's a lot of fear. And most of the fear stems from the confusion and the message that's totally messed up from CNBC and such. So the rhetoric is all over the place. Everybody's got an opinion and nobody not to agree. Just this morning, I clicked on a link of somebody talking about the Fed and all of that. He made total sense. And then he went off the rails in the latter half of his message. So everybody knows kind of what's going on. And I'm going to guarantee you that nobody really knows what the hell's going on, because these set of circumstances haven't happened before. So what can we do? We can be very cautious. For example, this guy's beef was that there's no way the Fed's going to cut rates. I don't disagree, but there's almost a guarantee that the Fed's going to stop raising rates. Okay, so I tell you, what would happen to stocks if they said the Fed is out, the Fed is done doing whatever it's doing, and it's never going to do anything for another 6 months or to a year? The stock market would explode higher, because why is the market falling? Then June, that flash crash in June was based on extremely hawkish, extremely negative, extremely bearish Fed words. They weren't even doing anything super nasty. They just said, whatever we're doing now, we're going to make it worse and it's going to sustain. So the market said, holy crap. But there was nothing bad. Apple's P&L is still great. Amazon's P&L is still great. Google's P&L is still great. All of these companies that make up the US economy. I mean, Amazon is the store to the US, if not the world, right? So if we're still spending money on Amazon, where is the recession? What measurement is that GDP stupid data point showing? It's garbage. So people are hanging up on the fact that, oh, we're going into a recession, maybe by GDP terms. And I would be shocked if they actually legally announce a recession, like from the White House. They probably won't. And if they do, it's probably 2 years from now in hindsight. Oh, we had a recession. It came and left. How about show me when Amazon tells me I lost 30% of my sales? If Amazon tells me they're losing their sales, then okay, consumer spending has disappeared. And that's 2/3 of the economy. So until then, guess what? Who's reporting this week? Most of the giga caps. So now we will know if Amazon is saying alarm, if Google is saying alarm, if Facebook is saying alarm. Facebook is important because Snap sucked. Not Snap. Yeah, Snap sucked. If Facebook doesn't say the same message, then it's a Snap issue, not an economy issue, okay? Google, Amazon, Apple, Facebook to a degree.
Right. Really quick here, Nick.
Microsoft.
I know that there was some steel company that was doing pretty well that reported earnings, and then X US Steel that I think they report on the 26th, 27th. Um, are you looking at like, those sort of stocks as well?
I this is I'll tell you I told you my story with X. 2 years
Yes.
ago, I sold the put at $9 put, which means I was long at 9. It went to under 5. And here we are, 20. This is technically doable. So I don't know what the reaction is going to be on the earnings, and it doesn't have anything to do with its fundamentals. It's going to be more about emotions. Okay, let's settle that. This is my practice platform from E-Trade. Please, I'm not recommending it. Do your own homework and decide accordingly. So this is Apple. Arguably, this is the best company on the planet. Am I correct? Hardly anybody thinks that its fundamentals are crap. I think its leadership is crap, but its fundamentals are not. It's a big boulder that is rolling downhill, and it's not a lot of people can do to stop it. So look at how many red reactions to earnings have been in the late. So we had a green, red, red, red. Why so many red reactions when all the reports have been excellent? So that's my mathematical proof that the reaction on the earnings, just on the earnings, the day it opens after the reports, is more about expectations. What's the headline you read? It missed EPS. That's like the dumbest headline. If I have one beef with any headline ever, it's earnings per share, because they use it for growth companies, for mature companies. I just want to, never mind. What? Like if you have a growth company and your headline is it missed earnings estimate, that means you have no idea how to evaluate the financial health of a company, because you apply the same metric for any type of company. Like you judge a high jump based not based on category. A kid versus an adult. You don't judge the high jump of a kid versus an adult. They're two different things. So, for example, they shorted Amazon for over a decade because its profitability was sucky. That's because they were spending every penny they're making to change the world. So they're spending money they have and they're making to reinvest into their growth. Twilio does the same thing. If you look at it, they don't borrow. They're not bleeding to grow, but they spend every nickel they have. They don't care. They want growth. CRM, the same way. Every major leading company started by spending a lot. And then yet every headline that comes out, they missed earnings per share. For estimates, first of all, it's somebody's estimates. What if that guy is a dumbass or that person is a dumbass? It's their opinion that they missed. What if the forecast was bad? Okay. How about you look at the company now versus what it did last quarter versus what it did last year, this quarter? Then you have a complete picture, because you want to see how did I do versus last year and how am I doing on a trend basis from last quarter? Actual numbers. Who gives a crap about the estimates? Like Warren Buffett says, the estimate tells you something like that. The estimate tells you more about the person with the numbers rather than the actual forecast of the company, like the health of the company. So make your own decisions. So earnings are coming out. If I see a huge sequential drop in Amazon sales, I get concerned about the economy. Okay, so the reaction is emotional. That's why I went to this picture here to show you that it's emotional. Let's see another stock. Here's Google. Google is a financial beast. We can all agree on that one. So it has a lot of greens. That's good. Okay, so that makes sense. But if we go, let's go to Microsoft.
Right, really quick here, Nick, before we do go on, we're getting a lot of questions here about the live room. So we're just going to get this out of the way, and then we'll get back here and focus on the session. All right. And by the way, thanks a lot, folks, for sending this. These are from the viewers. Okay, so are the sessions on Sunday recorded? Yes, they are recorded. They're posted in the chat room with the list and everything's there. Yes, does everybody that joined get a free laptop? Yes, we are hooking it up. Everybody will get a free laptop if you join before midnight. What is the chat room schedule? It's Monday to Friday, 8 to 5 Eastern, and Sundays also as well. From 11:30 from 10:30 Eastern till 1 p.m. around there, like about an hour or so. Again, that's Sunday with Nick.
Sunday is at 10 a.m. Eastern until we're done, usually an hour and a half to 2.
Right. Is there a money back guarantee? Yes, we do have a 30-day money back guarantee. So for any reason, get all your money back within that time. Let's see. Do you teach strategies from A to Z for total beginners in options? Yes.
Oh,
right.
Okay, so let me answer that one. I don't have official classes, but there's a learning experience every day. If you come in and I say something you don't understand, I will spend the time to explain it live. Yes, this week we explained several concepts from A to Z, but I don't hold official. But listen to this. So we do have. Let's say you join today, and you don't know much about options, you go on to the getting started page, and you have what is the put option, what is the call option, what is the spread, what is the credit spread, a whole bunch of other stuff. I think also it is important to know what is the cash settled index. That's important because the SPX folks and the XSP now, maybe the SPY soon, they have daily expirations. So those give us the opportunity to make 25% a day. If you join the room, I'll explain it to you how. The other day, somebody said, I don't know much about iron condors. That same night, I did a video about iron condors and I shared it with the group, and I keep sharing it. So if you're looking for education, you're going to have class in session for a year at your own pace. You come into the live room, you're going to get a live teacher. You go into the chat room, you're going to get the teacher answer your questions at any point in time. What's the difference? The chat room looks like this. Okay, this is where anybody can hang out. You guys can post whatever you want. Everybody else posts pictures. Like, these are not my charts, some of them. And nope, those are mine. This is the live room, the chat room, sorry, where that's not my chart. It looks like mine, but it's not. It's swaying. So everybody discusses their own entries and setups here. And then twice it, like this one. I don't know what that is all about. I asked Shirish what it was, and he said, "Oh, don't worry about it. It's good." So I was like, "There's no way I have time to read this whole thing." So I said, "Is it good, or is it something I need to worry about and take down?" They said, "No, it's good. So leave it up there. So go read it and tell me what it says." And here are setups from other people's comments. I posted a trade on UNG, and it was mistimed. Like, the day I posted it, then it had a couple of days against it. I posted on Costco and immediately went well. GLD immediately went well, but those are trade setups. And somebody saying, "Hey, out of all these, can I still take them?" And I gave them my opinion on timing of those two. So there's a whole discussion there. So you want to learn at your own pace. You go in here and you ask me questions in open session or in private session. Ryan updates me on his P&L every day. The guy is rolling in dough right now. He's not missing. He's like win after win after win. So this is available. If you want a live Nick, you go into the live room, which is open all day, every day, if you have time. It's an awesome place to be. If you wanted the resources of the videos, they're out there. Okay. The write-ups are twice a day. And twice on Sunday, because we already talked about Sunday night tonight. I will sit down, look at all the charts. I'll do 2 hours of charting again on top of yesterday's 4-hour charting and this morning's 2 hours to come up with a plan for this week. So last week, my plan was there's going to be difficulty. I thought it would be Thursday. I thought Wednesday night, Thursday morning is going to be difficult. Well, it came just before and just after. We had 2 difficult moments around the same time. I thought we would have the weak moments. And I said, I think we would rally out of it. And I said, I wanted to be long out of the Friday. And I said, the upside potential is 38.10 and 39.80 or 4,010. That's the upside potential. But I also warned against losing the low from 2 weeks ago. That flash crash low around the CPI number, that was a day for the ages, folks. Wow. So I thought that was a hard floor, maybe even the bottom. We'll see. If that holds, we should hit 3810, if not the high 3900s, and we'll see what happens after that. If we lose that, your next target is 3440-ish and 33s, low 32s, high 29s. And if we don't stop the slide of selling rallies, 2500 is the target for the S&P for me, 2540 or so. That's not my scenario, but I should know that it's a scenario that does exist. There's a good chance we place the bottom. It all hinges on the reaction to the earnings. Notice I didn't say the actual earnings, the reaction to the earnings on this week and next. We have, I think, this week and next, the giant bulk of the giant companies reporting. Okay, so the answer to your question is yes, you will get education for a whole year at your own pace, live or not live.
Right. Okay. So I have a couple of stocks here, Nick, that I want you to review and then kind of make it an example really
Let's go.
How it would be. Okay. So this one is CCRN. I found this company out. It's basically like Indeed, but for like doctors and nurses to get jobs around the US, different places. So look at the chart. CCRN.
N as in Nancy?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
The best trader of all.
Cross country. I've never seen this ticker before. Is that an all-time high? Okay, so when it's an all-time high like this one, oh, it's not. Whoa. Okay. Anytime you give me a stock like this one, anytime. So this is a 3-month chart. Every candle is a full quarter, 3 months. This month is way up here. It hasn't closed yet, right? It's been here before. And the last time it was up here before, it was a complete disaster. Now, that doesn't mean this time it is a complete disaster. From that perspective, if I'm an investor, no way on the planet you're going to get me to invest in this company up here. I don't care what you tell me. I would say, you know what? Good for you. I missed it. Call me again on the next time it falls apart and it wants to rally. Technically, on the shorter term perspective, you can't short this, but you can short extended rally. So what are they doing? They're buying dips. So there is an ascending channel. The bulls are in charge. The machines are buying dips. So the next dip that comes, you can buy it for a trade, and it should do this. Now, if it starts making lower highs, and then they lose where they bounced, they come down to here, then you can say, oh, we're starting something else. But until then, you just buy the dip. Up here, there's no way on like I couldn't call mom, can I borrow 5,000 to put in this trade? You cannot do that in good conscience. I wouldn't do that. It's a trade. It's not a good investment. I shouldn't say that. It is not an obvious entry for an investment for me. And I've never seen this ticker before. Speaking of which, though, I want you to pay attention to this thing. So Sunday, we do homework, I said, right? I do homework on Saturday. How does that come about? On Friday, I send out a form and I say, tell me the tickers you want me to review for next week. And they send me usually hundreds. This time it was just 100 because I sent a note really late. I was dead tired. And I review them on Saturday. I make notes for all of them. I put charts that are clickable, and I make this list available to them. And it's usually 3 different videos. Today I did 1 video for all of them. So I record the session. It is live review. I record it. Plus there were questions and answers like, I have stock. How do I hedge it? I answered that. I'm looking to short First Solar. I think it was First Solar or Netflix. They wanted to short it via credit calls. But I was like, why? Yeah, I don't disagree with your concept, but I wouldn't short it. Let them have it. So we answer questions like that. So we talked about coin. I shared my trades in BITO. Why? Because if you're trading coin because it's tied to Bitcoin, why not trade Bitcoin directly and not have a Bitcoin account? That's BITO, B-I-T-O. It's the actual price of Bitcoin as it is transpiring into the futures market. So if you want to invest in crypto, the riskiest part of crypto investing is learning crypto platforms and trusting them, right? Most of them are overseas. Some of them are shady. I have money in crypto.com, And every time my login hiccups, I was like, oh, today is the day I'm out of my money. Versus I can invest in Bito, the ticker Bito, which actually tracks the price of Bitcoin. Where it's a stock, I can trade it in Schwab, in Fidelity, in E-Trade, and TD Ameritrade.
Right.
You can just trade it anywhere. So the
Right.
homework, like you just asked me for CCRN, they're asking me hundreds of them. So let's take your second ticker.
All right. Next ticker that I have here, and again, folks, this is like my watch list of stocks that I'm looking at. Okay. PLRX. This is some sort of like healthcare company. I feel that it could be breaking out. I don't know. What do you think there?
Okay. So these sound like meme-ish stocks. So I particularly don't trade those. First of all, therapeutics, anything that's biotech, it feels like every day is a potential earnings report. FDA this and FDA that, update on phase 2 trial, blah, blah, blah. Boom. You'd have a good theory going, you'd have a good trade going, and headline breaks out and ruins everything you have. So this ticker is going into a pivotal zone. Look at this nice hard floor that they had back then. They fell apart from it. They couldn't recover it. Here they are trying to recover it. Higher lows is good. Having a roof this strong is not ideal to start longs. Getting to here is a lot easier than getting through here. So I think as you approach 28, the resistance is more significant. And just like the other one you just mentioned, I think it's a better buy on a dip into support. So if it falls towards 20, it's a better entry opportunity than going into that fail.
Okay. This other stock I'm looking at is SOBR, Sober. It's some sort of like, instead of a breathalyzer, you just put your finger, like your fingerprint, and it says if you're, your alcohol level. So they're trying to put it in school buses and workplaces and
school buses. Oh my!
Yeah, for
Lord.
drivers. For you'd be surprised. There are a bunch of like drunk school drivers out there in the buses. Yeah.
Okay, so all right. So once again, this is a dollar stock that you either invest in the company because you believe in what it does, or you don't. There's nothing for me to. There's no income. So this is the definition of a speculative stock. You either put some money into it and you say this is a speculative ticker, and I'm putting $1,000 in it, and I'm okay losing all of it. Okay, that is what that type of trade is to me. There's nothing I can tell you except that they're buying dips into 260, but it's a penny stock basically. So you either invest in it X dollars and you just hope for the best, or you try to trade that action between 260 and 360. So the idea is buy the dip into 280 and chase the rip above 380 if you can. If you can't, buy the dip into 280 and see if you can ride it up to 380. So it's BDBR. It's you buy the dip or you buy the rip. So if it bounces to here, it might do that. And if it takes out from here, it might do that. And that would be your target. So how do you get to here? You buy the dip. Buying the calls or buying shares is pretty hard. But you can tell that they're buying dips. The machines are buying dips. So maybe they continue doing that. Even if they don't break out, the action goes from here, tightens, and then boop, or bam.
Right. Okay. Namo asking, is it available for UK folks? Yes. Anybody from any part of the world can join. We do have a global international community here. I've signed up people from Japan, Finland, Ukraine, everywhere, like Canada. So yeah, it's anybody can join from anywhere in the world. All right.
So Rachel is asking, she's concerned having attention from me. Well, I realize that. That's why Benzinga will give you all your money back if that concern is actually a problem. I would be shocked. You'll see. You'll see how it goes. I'm like a jackrabbit in there. There's no question that goes unanswered. I'm not going to trade for you. Like on Friday, somebody was expecting me to tell him, get in here and get out here. I'll tell you, this is a place I buy and here's how I would do it. And guess what? James jumped in and said, get in here and get out here for that guy. And that guy didn't do it. And James said, did you do it? There was no answer. And James' points were perfect. If he had gotten in where James said and gotten out where James said, he would have made money.
Right. No, definitely. That's really the beauty. We can't talk about the chat room without talking about the
We have
members,
a
right?
few people in there that are super good at what they do. They're super fast. I can't be that fast, and I usually translate their fast terms into slower terms for people who get overwhelmed. So if you join the room, you're going to get overwhelmed at first. There's a lot you're going to miss. There's a lot that's too fast. It's too fast for me. I'm a slow trader. So I'll highlight the opportunities that are for people like me and for people who like to go in and out. Like on Friday, I said, please be careful. Before you know it, you've got a $2,000 bill in fees a month to your broker. The community is insane. The community is absolutely insane. You'll be shocked. Wait. Let's not be shocked. Hold on. Yes, I do. I take snapshots. Okay. And every once in a while, something pops up. So I can't remember why I did this. So paper traded that Iron Condor was down, but then sold another leg up strategy and turned it green. Okay. So we had an Iron Condor on Friday. I think this was Friday. There were 288 people at the time. And this person, Jake, said that this is the first day. Look, yeah, this is my first day. On his first day, he jumped in, he saw a trade, he took it on paper. Thank you, Jake, because that's how people should do. They jump in, they say, where's the trade? And it's like, wait, you've never done this. And now you're going in with 20 contracts in real money. And then you come back to me and say, oh, I'm in trouble. That is ridiculous. You should paper trade. So Jake paper traded a trade. It went against him. He doubled down. He turned it to green and got out on paper. So that was his first trade. And that was Friday. I'm pretty sure it was Friday. 21 Friday. Okay, so another one. Let's see here. That was also
really
Friday.
Quick there, Daniel. Use the link. Some of the folks are asking how to sign up. Make sure to look in the chat on the Zoom chat. We're posting the link there to join. It already has the discount applied there.
Here's Trader Joe. Sorry, I outed him. Look, I had a trade in SPX. Bill is asking, can you give the SPY version? Here's a comment from also Friday. I opened a Tasty Trade account, which is a platform I talked about, with $5,000 on September 12th. He's up 20%. Trading only SPX spreads intraday. So the one type of trade, doing it daily, he has a 20% yield in a month on a $5,000 account. This is the only overhead I need, because people say, I have a small account, what can I do? That's what you can do. And he said, most of them are wins, no losses, and 3 rolls. 3 rolls meaning he had 3 positions that went under fire and he chose to get out and resituate early. In reality, that's a loss, because the rolling an options trade is closing a loser, reopening it somewhere else for time to make you right. And that's what happened. So he rolled 3 losses, turned them into gains. So this is there's no better. This is like the best.
Really quick here, I want to give a big shout out here. Michael, welcome to the family. Let's go. Big shout out there. Newest family member.
Right on. So here's one, Golden Rule. I don't know who that is. I really don't. That's James, by the way, fast trader. And he's the one that helps out with covering the market. So this is Golden Rule sharing. When it's like this, it's a private message to me. Hey, Nick, certainly new to spreads. Sold my first SPX credit call spread yesterday. When was that? That was the 19th. So yesterday behind until the 18th, and made $650. Thank you for that. I'm learning so much. First trade made him $645. Now, I didn't ask for this. He solicited, or she solicited, I think it's a he, this data. So learning is there with paper trades like Jake. And eventually you migrate and you graduate over to real life trades and like one contract. So with one contract, maybe you lose 400, maybe you make 100. The yield on risk is about 20%. Account size can be as small as you want it. The bigger the account, the easier it is to make money with options. That's a fact. But smaller accounts can gain too.
Right. This is definitely the best way to get started. Folks, I really believe we have the best options chat room in the entire world. I really believe that we have a great community.
in
And I think
the
you should try it.
universe, in the universe.
Jacob says me too. Well, that's the thing, man, because when I started trading options, like, there wasn't well, I mean, I made the same mistakes that other retail traders do, like join, pump and dump chat rooms and pennies, all this sort of stuff. And it really changed a lot when, when you started, I started going over your videos, Nick, the getting started videos. Sometimes I'll pop into the chat room if I have a live trade. Like this Friday, I had TQQQ calls, and I'll always pop in there and just see, hey, what are the levels that Nick is looking at, because many traders really only use that. They look at Nick's charts and they go by that, right? They already know the types of trades that they can make, but that's just, goes to show we have people that are very new, we have people that are advanced, intermediate, and everybody helps each other. It's a great community. Everybody's helping out. So it's the best way to start. Don't learn by blowing up your account. Like, from experience, don't. Join the chat room.
Definitely. And in case what I drink Bang, everybody knows that in the room. I didn't know they make chocolate. No. I will not be buying that one again. Blech.
Yeah, no, Shelly, the details are on the checkout on the link.
Yes.
So
here's the thing. If you're curious, how about I make you a promise? I make you a promise that if you join a group like mine, and I can promise you on mine, you will become a better trader. Wherever you're at, you're going to learn some stuff. Easy, simple stuff that will change your life with trading. And if you don't, and you feel it was a crap deal, cancel. People, listen, if it was my service, I would charge that much a month, because I don't have the marketing bandwidth that Benzinga does. So from an effort perspective, I'm putting everything into the effort. I'm here all day, every day with this, all day, every day, not like 2 hours a day, 9 hours, 10 hours. Friday, it was 10 hours and 20 minutes. The report comes out. I can show you all the reports. 9 hours at least a day.
Right. And here's the thing. Most people really think that it's just about, opening and closing a trade. Managing the trade is really, where the money's made or
managing the trade,
lost.
let's jump in here. So Jacob was asking about that. So I'll give you an idea how to the managing the trade. So what are we here? Microsoft, let's use Microsoft. Let's say somebody comes to me and say, Nick, I bought a 280 call in Microsoft before this problem started. It expires in November and I'm down 80%. What should I do? Okay. I'll say, what is your trade? They'll say November 280 call. So I'll come here and I'll look at the odds of success. So I'm going to back into how I know this. This trade has under 10% chance of price being there. Okay. So if that's the case, what should I do? Well, there's still $74 per contract left. Let's say he or she had 10 contracts. So they still have $740 at stake. Now, statistically, the options gods are telling us that there's no way that this is going to make money. There's very little chance price is going to do this to save you. Okay. But that doesn't mean it can't rally. So if I had $700 stuck here, I would close it, take it, save those soldiers because they are slated to die for zero. Take that $740 and invest it in one of these. This is $680. This is $900. This is $500. This is $350. I would even take two of these or one of these. That's better. If I take one of these, this is almost a coin flip, a small bump, and that makes me money. So I'll take the 740. I'm not making it bigger. Remember, risk is you pick an amount and you move on, and then you manage the percentages. Well, the percentages suck. So I want to manage the percentages without increasing this amount. So I'll take this, put it here, from 10 contracts to one contract. So if price does do that, that one contract is going to make me money. But if it doesn't do that, it just does this, that one contract is going to make me money, whereas these will die. So that's the definition of managing to a higher delta. So whatever problem you have, Sorry. Mm, I'm checking. I had a couple of texts back to back from my son, just making sure there's nothing urgent.
Right. No, there's definitely a variety of traders there. People that do spreads, condors, butterflies, people that just, trade the options, right? Calls and puts. So whichever style that you are, or maybe if you're new, you don't even know which fits your style, but that's really where Nick is also going to help you, because we have people that have, for example, a full-time job and they do certain types of trades with Nick and they manage them with Nick. Everybody finds time. We have so many people there working a full-time job, and it's really not an excuse that you have a full-time job, because so many people there do as well, right, Nick?
Yep. So a lot of the people that are in the live room have jobs, but they have flexible schedules to where they can be in the live room. Anybody can be in the chat room, part of the group. If you have a job, all you have to do is just read a note in the morning. It's 6 o'clock my time, Pacific, before the market opens, sometimes 5:30. So you get to read it and you know what the day is going to look like. And then if you have time to read something else in the middle of the day or after you come home from work, you'll have a trade idea that has weeks on the clock. But if you have time to be in the live room, you get all this extra stuff. Extra. It's not like you're paying for something you're not getting by being in the live room. All the live room was totally extra after the fact. You have everything, all of my support in the chat room 24/7. The live room is for those lucky, that a few that can be there, pop in and out, learn something new, ask a question and leave. So it's definitely an opportunity to learn and earn.
Right. Now, as far as what's happening in the market right now, Nick, you help traders navigate all that stuff, because, it's not just trading options. In the chat room, you go over technicals, market discussions, analyze Fed meetings, acquisitions, everything that's happening out there, basically.
It's hard to describe. I mean, you and me are trying to convey it, but it is literally like a miracle collection of effort that is totally complete. So I told you I'm not from Wall Street. I'm an engineer with an MBA in finance. So I'm not an idiot as to how Wall Street works, but I don't need to know how they calculate this and they calculate that. I know the concepts. I know the dealers, the market makers, what they need to hedge, what kind of positions they do, how they make their money. I also have resources that tell me what the machines are doing, but I don't need any of that. I mean, I have it. That's great, but I don't need any of it. And I try to reduce it down to very simple logic, okay? And trading ideas that make sense and doing nothing, absolutely nothing, without the blessing of the charts. Because if there's one thing that hasn't faltered, are the charts. Let me see here. Was there a headline on Friday? I'm trying to come up with a. So there was something that happened, and we had a bounce exactly where it
I
happened.
think it was the 20-year bond auction. Was that it?
No. There was a headline from somebody that came out. I was like, if it was a headline that caused this move, how the fudge did I know to put my line there on that headline? You know what I mean? Something happened. They said, "Oh, the headline moved." I was like, "Yeah." So did I have an in at that headline? For example, I'll show you. This is a live shot from this is the futures. That's the S&P. These are 15-second candles. Yeah, we go down to 15 seconds. And I had drawn this. I said, you either buy the dip for the rally or you chase the rally if you're fast enough. And let's see, maybe I can find it here. So that was one setup. I can't remember where it is. But anyway, my point is, they said headline, right? Headline changed the day on Friday, right? Wasn't that the case? The day exploded higher on Friday. Something here broke out, daily, Fed daily, whatever, blah, 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 blah. Markets went crazy. So I said, if it was the headline, can we cuss? We can't. How the fudge did I know to put an arrow that ends exactly here? So that was my downside target. I said, warning 1, before the market opened, or just as the market opened. Warning 2, and that's the target, right? I said that. And then we bounce from here and they say headline. Okay, so I must see visions then that I had the exact target, that this is where they're going to bounce from? No. Headlines don't matter. I promise you, 1 or 2 headlines matter in a year, and this is not one of them.
Right. I think support, like live trading support, is really important because, if you're new trading, you might make a trade and do the opposite, and you might end up even owing money to the brokerage. So, yeah.
Yeah. So if you wing it, you might get lucky. But if you use charts, look at this. Look at this. Look at where they failed. This line, this white line, has been here for weeks. This one has been here for months. This red line was the pivot zone in July, and I believe a turning point in October. October, we fell apart from that line, right? So we come and hit the line, and we bounce off of it perfectly. Those are not coincidence. We hit it, we bounce off of it almost perfectly. These are weeks and months old. Weeks and months old. What is this one? This one's probably, yeah, just shorter term. So we track the right lines. So when you track lines like this, look at this. When we track lines like this, it makes it less likely to do the wrong thing easy. Like, yes, we make mistakes, but we're less likely to make mistakes. And what kind of mistakes? For example, right here, remember that? If I said target, nobody out of the 300 people in my room, I guarantee you, nobody bought puts here. Nobody. And a whole bunch bought calls there. And they rode them all the way to the top. Okay? So they definitely didn't make the mistake of shorting the markets or getting out of their longs because they're, oh my God, red ticks, emotionally you want to chase. Nope. We had a target. We hit the target. We had a zone. We hit the zone. We knew that there should be a fight there, and there was, and the outcome was fantastic. So we trade with we trade with knowledge of where there's likely to be support and resistance. This stops you from making mistakes, and this opens the door for potential. For example, you see this total failure. They fell, came back, they took it out, they tested it for footing, and they sprang from it. This process repeats itself to varying degrees across time. That's how it happens. That's why you get these failure. Come back, you test it for footing, gone. So now they're buying dips. So this is a 1 minute chart. So if you zoom out to the 5 minute chart, you see something like this. Okay, so here's the scenario, the forecast on a daily basis that I shared with the team before the day starts. I tell my write-up in the morning has these 3 charts, which are S&P, the QQQ, NASDAQ, and the small caps. And I have 2 more charts for the futures contracts. So this is the purple line has been there, okay, before the day starts. In fact, there it is before the day started. Before the day started, I said, we're probably going to fall to here. And then that's my next target. This is the day before the day started. And then I had here, most likely I will take longs here. Support and support. This is before the day started. I'm going to move it over. That's what actually happened. Remember, we were above the orange bubble. And then the day opened. Before we opened, we fell into the bubble and we bounced. Now, would you have benefited from having this before the day started? Now, this came too fast. I thought this would unfold over 4 days. It came too fast. That's my only regret on Friday. They should have stopped here, right here. They did stop, but then they continued the same day. That was bad. So I thought they stopped here. Look what they stopped. Look where they based. So we kept the right levels. That was my target. And now what we do? We're going into earnings and it's a crapshoot. So guess what I'm doing in earnings? Okay, so I'm going to tell you, if we dip, I'm going to be looking to buy the dip somewhere down here because then that's what's going to happen. Take this out and finish this job. Yes, we can get there. Right. But it all depends on the reaction to the earnings. And more importantly, this time, the fundamentals do matter. I want to hear if Facebook, Microsoft, Amazon, and Apple tell me, oh, it's okay, whatever's going on is going to continue on, we're cautious, whatever, but not like, oh, we saw a huge drop in sales. If I hear that, then maybe I won't catch here, I catch here, or maybe down here. We'll see. But I think normal price action is to come across prior fails, headline or not, fail, hold support, maintain progress of higher lows, come back, tackle the prior fail, bump above it, come back and test it for footing. Even down to here is okay. And then come back, make a higher high. That's what I anticipate happen.
Nick,
So I'll
and
wait.
someone has a question there about the cost of the trade. So how, because there are strategies that you have for people like, small accounts, medium sized, large accounts, like you work with it individually, right? With these people basically, regardless of
Not every trade is appropriate for everyone. So I personally don't like to buy and hope. I like to take risk with some intelligence. So every person's different. If your account is small, then you have to be smart with the risk, the type of risk you take. And you have to be patient. You can't blow up an account from $500 to $10,000. They did it in 2020 and 2021, but they blew it all away because it was not right. So there are strategies that guarantee you $50 a day for a small account. That is an unbelievable achievement if you think about it. Okay, so I know for a fact that there are people in my group that turned 1,000 into 10,000 in 2 months or a month and a half. But if they're not diligent, they could make a mistake and start increasing their size of the. So if somebody has $1,000 account or a $2,000 account, they have to be cautious. And I know these 2 or 3 people took aggressive bets and they grew. So now they need to stop taking those aggressive bets. Take the same bets. Aggressive meaning how big relative to your total till. The same. You should shrink the percentage. So if I'm taking $500, which is half my account at 1,000, and I get my account to 10,000, I should continue to take $500 bets. But now I'm not taking a giant bet relative to my account. Hopefully that makes sense. Somebody saying, can I ask you what led me to put the 2 circles on the chart? Remember I told you I was learning new things? That was one of the new things. A discipline that gives me time. So clearly I'm not that good at it because I thought it would take 3 days to get to here. But on Friday, they decided to. I've always been good with levels. I've been bulletproof with my levels all year and last year as well.
Technicals are huge in the chat room. Donald is asking,
it is plain simple English technicals. I'm not that jargony about it, and It's amazing how well it works.
Everybody can understand it. That's why people like it. You break it down really simple. Donald says, is pumping stocks a new economic phenomenon? No, right?
I think it's been here for ages. Haven't you heard of boiler rooms?
What was that stock? The wheat stock, the first GME that you
Tilray?
Yeah. So this is look, the way that I look at it is it's and the way that I trade personally, I either go long or short on the markets, and that everybody has their own strategy, but there's no better help as a trader than having a mentor on demand live giving you that support. There's nothing.
I am not the best trader in my own room. I say it to them, but I'm pretty good at organizing the efforts, and I'm pretty good with levels. I'm super good. I mean, I draw things like this intraday. Like I think they're going to do here and do there. On Friday or Thursday, I can't remember. I was sitting here and I was talking to the chart in front of everybody. I said, okay, now drop to here. All right, now rise to here. Okay, now drop one more time to here and rise to there. And then it hit every point I said. So I threw the mic, whatever thing I had next to me, and got out of my chair. Like, what else do you want? So that doesn't happen always, but we're pretty accurate in predicting what's the next step, because we look at who's controlling the price action and what are the relevant levels. If you know those 2 things, you're less likely to make mistakes. You look like a genius. You go, oh my God, he painted the tape. Can you please put an arrow there? And I was like, no. We are trying to find the levels that matter and who's in control. If you know those 2, you know what the machines are going to do. So again, Marcus, you're looking for a trade alert. You're looking for a trade alert system. I'm not a trade alert system. If you want to trade all day, be in my room. You will have like 15 opportunities to trade. I'm not going to tell you buy 10 calls right here and sell them right there intraday. I'm going to tell you I'm taking this trade for 3 weeks. If you want to take it, that's how I did it. Or intraday, I'm telling you, this is a place I buy, this is a place I get out. There are sellers here, there are buyers here. So if you hang out in my room all day, you're going to have an opportunity to trade all day. There's like unlimited number of trades. I will share one or two that are static where you don't need to do much. You just sell something and you wait for the day to expire. I'm going to share some trades that need 2-3 weeks to expire, which are my favorite trades. And you pick. I am not a trade alert service. You say, what's your record? Do you have a list? First of all, I share too many to come up with a record like that. But I did share it with Benzinga all of 2021. I had, I don't know, 75, 82% of the trades that were credit spreads expired worthless in my favor. So it's a living. That's all I got to tell you. If you're looking to change your life as far as trading is concerned and not be the person chasing, there's an opportunity with me. Jump in, and if you don't like it, they'll guarantee you can jump out. My life changed because I got into a room like this years ago, and it was only 3 people. Don't ask me how I ended up among them. They're unbelievable traders, and they're futures traders. They care nothing about the news. Oh, one thing, please challenge yourself and trade with 0 news for a month. 0. Don't listen to the GDP report. Don't listen to the jobs report. Turn it all off. Don't listen to Powell. Turn it all off, because Powell is not changing his mind. Listen to Powell when he changes his mind and stops raising rates. Until then, that's months away. Until then, don't listen to Powell. Don't listen to CNBC. Not one person on CNBC wants you to do better. They want your eyeballs. That's it.
Right. And we need to make a clear distinction there. Like, the distinction between a journalist, a reporter, and like an actual trader. Like, it's
so
totally
if
different.
You're on CNBC trying to take trades, you're going to almost lose every time because they're selling you their trades. So if the Nigerian brothers are out there talking about their trades, you're so late in the process that you're going to be buying their profits. It's not that they're evil. It's just that's how it works. If you get your unusual option activity idea from TV or from print, you're so late. There's no miracles will take in order for you to make money. If you have your own system that catches unusual options activity and you want to act on it, you have half a chance. Okay. So that's just one example. So if you're on Benzinga's platform and scanning for unusual options activity yourself and you find them, they're actionable. But if you read about it somewhere on Twitter or somebody on TV, please don't do it. Sell it at that time. Like if it's a put, I would sell you that put or a put below it.
Right. That and trading alone are probably the 2 biggest mistakes that new traders fall into.
Trade with a group. It's first of all, a lot of fun. We laugh our asses off, and very, very fruitful. Very fruitful because you get so many ideas. Part of the benefit I get from having the room and having hundreds, I literally just clicked on somebody that sent me a write-up from somebody else. I usually don't pay attention to them, but that somebody else is a perma bear, but he's a good technician. So I respect good technicians. I will read his opinion and see what it means. And that's a guy who's been flip-flopping. He had 2 big wins back to back to back. But he had a couple of whiffs. Nevertheless, I want to pay attention to his levels and see what he thinks. So I'm ready for my team. So I'm not blind to my method. I'm not cocky to where I don't listen to everybody else. I know that we are minnows, tiny little fish in a sea full of sharks and whales that want to eat us alive. If I know that, I'm less likely to be bait, and I'm more likely to swim close to rocks safely. My trades are relatively safe and never over exuberant, as long as I can see it coming.
Right. I want to give a big shout out here to a new member.
Right on.
And Boots, welcome to the family. Make sure, please, everybody else also that joined, make sure to fill out the form with the address that you want the laptop shipped to. And that's my alarm. That's my ringtone. But the chat room is really fun. I remember when I launched the chat room here with Nick, it was just me and him. And now we have over 300 plus people there live. and it really turned out into something really beautiful, helpful, and we're glad that we're able to help retail traders out there because it is a tough market right now, especially if you're learning, if you're starting now. That's for every trader. You're going to make the majority of mistakes during when you're starting, and that's really why it's important to start with the right mentality here in the group.
Definitely, definitely. So when I started, there weren't groups like this. I wish there were. There weren't classes like this. I wish there were. There weren't any technicians sharing their opinions like this. I wish there were. There definitely weren't any rooms open all day where the technician is willing to spend all day with me. I wish there were. I had to learn the hard way. Now I have to tell you, I got lucky the first year I did this. I made 6 figures selling options, but it was beginner's luck because the next year I thought I was doing just as well, and then I gave it all back in one day because I learned new things that I didn't know could happen, and they did.
Right. And we have Muhammad in the YouTube chat says, I'm currently in a loss in SPY 1K. I don't know tomorrow when market opens. Should I close immediately or wait for a pullback?
I need more information about that trade. Like, what is it?
Right, right. Mohammed, put that info there in the chat.
I just need to know what trade it is, and then we can comment. I don't need to tell him. I mean, it'd be great if I know how much they paid per contract, but if they can't do that, then we'll talk about the livelihood of that trade itself as a standalone thing.
Yeah, and then we have another Mohammed there on Zoom. As I don't know if it's the same person. Say for day trading options, you do different stocks every day or some fixed stocks.
I do whatever you guys want to watch. So I usually watch the S&P futures for the beat of the market. I start the day at 5 minutes. I come down to 1 minute, and then we go to 30 seconds and then 15 seconds. This is a closed market, so it doesn't look like that. But what people say, why do you watch 15-second charts? Because I see 4 times as many data points as my competition. So I'm more likely to see that there was a double bottom of sorts or a triple top of sorts. So we watch the action based on the S&P, but then sometimes we need to watch 2 things. So we'll open up a window right next to it. Whoops. So this is a long story why I have Twilio right next to the market. But if you can believe it, Twilio made us a lot of money on Friday because I can't explain it. Anyway, it's a long conversation. It was so good. It was so good. It was phenomenal. Okay, so that was one thing. But then I go into this mode where I'm watching everything at the same time. And somebody will say, hey, do you mind looking at the IWM for a second? I'm in a trade. Yeah, no problem. We'll go to IWM and see what we did there. So I had a forecast for the IWM that we dip, and then we dip again, and then we do that. We dipped, and then we fell apart. And now we're back to where we dipped from. So I can reset that entire trade here, but I won't. So I put an X. I was like, okay, these forecasts didn't come, but the path is still valid. We just took a detour. But I also had, most likely I will take longs in here. And if somebody followed my instruction before the day opened, then they knew to get long inside that bubble. And right. Look at what we did. We closed the gap, or quite a bit of it. Well, the S&P, we have not. That's my concern. I think there's still one more dip coming. So don't look up next week. Don't just look up. Please be careful, because look at this. We have a gap down here somewhere, and it's massive. Let's go to 5 minutes. Somewhere. There it is. Look at the size of that gap. I mean, a small gap, I don't mind. A gap this size, that's 3,600, folks. We might have a conniption Monday, Tuesday. Maybe a bad reaction to some earnings. Bring us down here. And if we come down here, I will try to buy the dip, just like I said earlier.
Right. So I know that we were talking about Tesla in the live room. Where do you see Tesla? I mean, do you think that Tesla can have what are you looking at in the charts for that? Because I know a lot of people trade it.
Yes. And Tesla is one of those where I say don't short it type of a deal. So Tesla financials are pretty good. I'm confident they will sell every widget they make. Right now, it's in the hands of sellers, and they're selling it in lower highs, lower lows. So rallies are instinctively getting sold, right? So that's it. Whoops. That's a rally that got sold. The rally got sold. This is a rally, right? Will it get sold? It might. And if it does, the next question, will it hold the low? If it holds a higher low, they will come back here, try to take these out. So if they take these out, they come back, get established footing, and then they go up here, and then they dip and they buy the dip, and suddenly you have an ascending channel, right? But that sold if they lose the low from 2 weeks ago, last week, then they go to another low and they repeat the process and they continue these. So my concern with Tesla really is the fact that it's still so high relative to its pandemic base. So if I go to a weekly chart, I'm going to scare people here. Please don't be upset. I'm the guy that says don't short Tesla, right? Okay, so the market came down close to its pre-pandemic levels. Facebook is below its pandemic levels, or was. Square, PayPal, and all of those are below the pandemic levels. So Apple is still somewhere around here relative to its pandemic levels. Microsoft and Google somewhere around here as well. Tesla is up here. I believe this is 70%. So Tesla can fall 70%, and it's still not as high as the pandemic high. And the pandemic high was 100% rally, all-time high.
Right,
So,
right.
but listen. What is this? That is a huge head and shoulders. The target is 2 digits. So Tesla technically can be headed to 90. Okay, so before you scream your head off, I want to show you 2 charts. 2 charts. Listen. First of all, I'm going to show you my chart. Okay, so this is a potential. Look, this head and shoulder loss is a threat to the whole market next week. Okay, that was 2 week comments ago. So that's still a threat. Keep in mind this pattern. This is NVIDIA. Months ago, I put this arrow down here. Look where it's at now. Same scenario, weekly inverse weekly head and shoulders, huge head and shoulders. Look, neckline for the huge head and shoulders targeting 100. Bulls must retake it, the neckline, before you can go long. They never did. Okay, wait, that's NVIDIA. AMD. Look at my target. Also on a huge weekly head and shoulders. So they kept selling rallies, and then Tesla could be in that same potential pitfall. And now, please know that I am not a perma bear. I promise you, I'm a bullish guy. They say you're a bull. You're always looking up. You're always looking up. I'm only looking up when everybody else is looking down. That's what I'm doing. So when everybody else looks up, I was saying from here to here, I said AMD will be under 60 this year. And here we are. It might be under 40 this year. It all depends on how the market reacts this week. So this week is very pivotal. Right. And this week it's on fundamentals from companies themselves.
We have Mohammed here with a couple of updates on the trade. Says, currently I am in a put in SPY, but the market is up. I have put it 370. Currently the market is up around 375. I got to put at 365. Okay.
But he doesn't tell us when they expire. Okay, so I'm going to make assumptions and we're done waiting. So here's current price. Okay, for those of you who don't know anything about options, let's start with a mini lesson. This is an options chain. And options are contracts between buyers and sellers. Just like any contract, they have terms and conditions. We'll start with condition number 1, time. This particular contract I chose ends in the middle of November, and it's 26 days on the clock. That's 1. Second, everything on this page has to do with the stock called SPY, okay? Everything on this page represents 100 shares. So if I do one contract of anything here, it's 100 shares for the SPY, and it's for 26 days. Those are 3 terms and conditions. Another term and condition is price. Current price at the close on Friday was 374 and change. So I can choose to do anything with these prices, anything with that prices. Okay, so far, no need to know anything too detailed. Now they come in 2 flavors, those contracts. Calls, call options, and puts, put options. Neither is bearish or bullish. Both can be both. Calls can be bearish and bullish. Puts can be bearish and bullish. How you use them, what you do with them makes them bearish and bullish. You don't need to own stocks to do either. I can buy and sell these whether I own shares or not. Okay. There's only one scenario where a put is bearish. If I buy a put, any one of these, and I don't own shares, I am bearish the stock. Period. End of story. For example, Muhammad owns a $365 put. It's worth $7.50 if that's the one. I don't know which one. I'm assuming
it expires on November 18th, 2020.
Okay, that's close. That's exactly the one. So this is a bearish position if Muhammad doesn't own shares. It might be a hedge on his stocks. For example, the market, that's it. If I own stocks of A, B, C, and D, I'm long SPY indirectly, because if my A, B, and C are making money, chances are the market is moving higher. So I'm long the SPY indirectly. But if I buy a SPY put for giggles, I'm shorting the market because I'm paying $7.50 today. Muhammad sounds like he paid more. And the only way I would make money is if price falls through. If price falls fast, this $7.50 gains in value. Look at it. The higher you go to current price, look how much difference in price there is. So you would make a lot of money if we have a crash next week. Okay. So Muhammad is saying, I'm running out of time, man. I'm waiting. I'm down. So he must have paid, I'm going to say $950. I'm just making up. So he's lost $200 from $950. So that's roughly what, 18%, maybe 22%. I'm doing air math. So he's down 22% on it, 20% on his investment. Thank you for sharing, by the way. I appreciate it. It's not easy. So you will hear me say this 100 times a day, because I know what it's like to put your trade ideas out in the open. I do it every day, all the time. It's taxing, but if you're confident and you're honest with yourself, then you're more confident to share it with, hey, I'm not messing up. It's not a whacked out trade. So in this case, since Muhammad has 26 days on the clock, and since the delta, that's one of the terms and conditions, is still high enough. What does that mean? At current price, the delta is 50-50. So the odds of success are a coin flip. This delta is 35%-ish. Still pretty close to a coin flip. Any lower than that, and then it starts getting crazy down here. That's too hopeful for a bad condition. This is still reason. Like if I were to buy a put now, this would qualify as one of the ones I would consider buying. Okay. So if market's correct, Muhammad will be bailed out of his position. However, remember, I gave you a cheat sheet for beginning. Number one is write a reason, NTNT, before you take a trade. So Muhammad needs to go back and say, why did he buy this put? Was he protecting his stocks? Then why is he asking me, should he take it out? If your car is skidding, you call your insurance agent and you say, I got this. I think I got this. Cancel my insurance. You don't do that. For as long as the car is skidding, you're going to keep the insurance on. Don't trade your insurance. Okay, so that's one. Find out the reason, Muhammad, and revisit that reason. If you don't have a reason for owning it, why own it? Number two, managing the percent, right? So at what point do you call it quits? When the percent drops below 30%, 35%. So if that's still acceptable, then keep on. Now, the third thing I didn't give you earlier today, but you guys mentioned it. I know I saw at least 3 people mention it. Exit strategy, stop loss. Did you hit your exit strategy, your stop loss? Did you hit your X point? If you don't have an X point, set one. Say to yourself, okay, I'm down 20%. If it hits 25%, I'm out. Some people are okay with 30%. Use an appropriate level to you.
Right. And then we have Manuel on the Zoom side asking thoughts on Tesla next week. Bought 11-18 bull call spread, 200, 210 expiration November 18th. Thinking of a partial exit at 219. It's on the Zoom chat. You can read it there.
I don't see the Zoom chat. Oh, Zoom chat. Yes. Tesla next week, 11-18 bull call spread. Okay, so let's go to Tesla. So Muhammad should have the answer. Muhammad, your fate relies on the reaction on Tuesday afternoon. A lot of it does. Okay. So Tesla, fundamentally, I want to mention something. Tesla creates more profit margin than GM with half the sales. What? Yes, they make 18 billion in profit margin out of like 65 billion in sales. GM has like 133 billion in sales and they make 16 billion. That's an embarrassment to GM. Okay, and I'm not a fan of Tesla, trust me, but that's a fact. All right, so here's what happened. Again, for those of you who don't know options, we're talking this time, everything on this page, stipulation number 1 of the contract is Tesla. Everything on this page is 100 shares. Everything on this page is 26 days because we picked this contract right here. And the trade setup is, they bought a bull call spread. So they bought a call spread basically, 200, 210, that's good. So they bought this call and they sold this call. So this is a $10 wide spread, 200 to 210, right? And I'm going to do some air math here. It's worth, what is that, $5, $4? Sounds low. Anyway, whatever it is, the maximum profit from this is $10. People are being noisy outside because you're long at 200, you're not long at 210, so you can make $10. Depends on what they paid for it. Let's say they paid $3 for that spread, then it means that they can profit 7. Why? If price for Tesla ends up anywhere above 210 in the next 26 days, this should be $10 value. And if they paid 3, then they made 7. Okay. This is a spread I like. It has time on the clock. It's in the money. So time is your friend. This is like a credit spread at this time. So like if the bell rings right now, this is $10. They made money. Oh, you paid $9.70. What? So interesting. So they can only make $300. So they paid $9.70 for a total profit of 10. So they only can make 30 cents out of it. So if they did 1 contract, it's $30. 10 contract, they can make $300. Not my style. The only thing you know is that you don't need a rally to win. They do not need a rally to win. They can make money off of time ticking, but that is not my style.
What is your style? We're conservative, right?
Well, the risk reward is not attractive. I would rather sell a put spread down here, to be honest, and create more room for error, because this is not a lot of room for error. The advantage of options is the explosion. So if you're expecting a rally, you would make so much money if you did that same spread here somewhere. Okay. So that is better bang for the buck. And you don't need much of a move. I mean, I'm not saying he did wrong. I'm just saying it's not my style. I'm surprised at these metrics. How could you have paid $9.70? I mean, that's weird. I'm going to have to revisit that.
Right. So can you look there at PayPal?
Okay. So now that makes more sense. Their spread is wrong as they described it. All right. So that's okay. I don't mind that one. So they're saying that it's not 200, 210. It's 195, 210. Now that makes more sense. So I don't mind it. Even then, I would have done 195, 205-ish. What was that again? Sorry.
It was a call. What would you do in PayPal? Like looking at that ugly chart, the ugliest chart in the planet, probably. What do you think? I mean, at one point it's gonna get so cheap that they might get bought out. Who knows? Like it's just they've been hit so hard, those stocks.
Yes. PayPal, I reviewed it today for the gang. I'm a fan of the business model. I'm a fan of the P&L. I'm not a fan of how it's collapsed. Very bizarre, very bizarre. So, and then one day it hit me. I had an epiphany on Square and PayPal, right? So this is PayPal and this is Square, both in the same business, and they're falling like they're out of business, and their P&Ls could not be any more exciting. Look at the sales line; they're profitable. They create cash from operations. It's no bad news. Some people said, "Oh, speculation that the government is going to change pay now, buy now, pay later type of a deal, those 4 payment things or whatever." I was like, "That's un-American to take those out. I just don't think we're there." And then it dawned on me that they're falling with one thing and one thing only, with Bitcoin. They are tracking Bitcoin, which is a crazy notion, but they are tracking Bitcoin. So if that's the case, I'm an owner of PayPal and or Square. I went long American Express last week, immediate profits the day I've entered it. So if I'm long American Express, I don't add, but I would own shares of PayPal and Square off the lows with confidence. Not full position because I don't trust the markets as a whole, but I do remember having some bulletproof levels below in PayPal. So these notes, DP is dark pools. This is an old collection of notes from months ago, but I still think they're in play. So dark pools are money that they're not necessarily in the typical markets of Wall Street, but it's giant piles of money that comes out of nowhere and loves to trade these levels. And it says R because we were below them. Now we're above them. They should be support on the way down. So this huge drop recently should be a floor. And if it's not, it's this one. So what do I do with something like this? If I wanted to own 100 shares of PayPal, I would buy 20, 25, 30 and leave room to add when the market crashes. And if the market crashes, I'll add lower, like much lower, 25% lower, and end up owning PayPal somewhere inside this dark pool. That would not be a major mistake. So I am very confident of the story of PayPal. I am not so confident at the chart of PayPal inside the market story right now.
Right.
So
okay.
Selling puts on bad day to own shares. Yes.
All right. So how low can Bitcoin go? And everybody in the chat,
5,000.
People in the chat, put your Bitcoin targets. I think 10,000. I think 10,000 is going to be
5,000. Okay, so let me tell you what Bitcoin is going to do. Let me tell you how I traded Bitcoins for the gang. So last October or November, I said Bitcoin has a correction coming and it may be all the way down to the low 20s. That was when Bitcoin was up here. Not many people take it seriously. I drew lines, head and shoulders, blah, blah, blah. We hit the target. We hit the target I wanted. I said I would load up at 19. Well, we crossed below 19. And then I went and read some write-ups from people I respect. And they said it's going to 11, maybe even 5,500. So I said, you know what? I'm going to add, like I said I would, but I'm not going to go all in. So I added Bitcoin I added Ethereum and Solana to be exact. So my Ethereum entry point was 850-ish, 60, 70, I can't remember. My Solana was 27.4. And they both rocketed. So Bitcoin rocketed too, like from here to here. I didn't close my positions because my thought is it's an investment for a couple of years at least. And I just staked everything. I locked everything at 3 to 10% reward. So I'm not tempted to trade. If Bitcoin gets to 11, like everybody says it's going to, I will double my position. If it gets to 5, I will quadruple my position or triple it. But that is, I'm not averaging down. I didn't take my investment. Let's say I had a $50,000 slated for that. I took 15. I can double it to 30 and double the 30 to 60 or 50. So Bitcoin made the low. If you lose that low, 5,000 is fair game. I don't think it goes there, but it's fair game.
Right. And where are you with energy right now? Because I know many months ago you were saying like, you know,
one last thing on Bitcoin. One last thing on Bitcoin. Sorry. I told you Bito BITO tracks the price of Bitcoin. Now it looks hideous because it started at the top of Bitcoin, so it looks terrible, right? But intraday, it trades like Bitcoin because it tracks BTCF, which is the Bitcoin future. So this trades everywhere, Schwab or whatever. So the way I trade it these days, I sell naked puts at 1150 to own shares. I told you I want to add Bitcoin, so why not create some action off of that? So every week I sell some puts in BITO. 2 weeks ago, I sold some puts. Last week, I sold some puts. This week, I sold some puts. And what happens? They don't assign me because it goes down to 1150 maybe, and it's a flash and it bounces. If I wake up Monday and I own shares at 1150, so be it. Okay. So it's like buying Bitcoin at these levels, 19,000. That's fine. I'm not going all in. If I do 10, I'm ready to buy 1,000 shares of BITO. And if they don't assign me, I made $280. I did it last week. I did it week before that and the week before that. So that's how I'm tackling Bitcoin. So if I do that, say 2 months, I've already lowered whatever entry price I have in Bitcoin so much that it's okay to have a little bit of red here and there. It's an investment. Listen, folks, you can make fun of crypto all you want. I'm making you a promise that everybody in this room here today, you will be using crypto on a daily basis in your lifetime. I can guarantee it, okay? There's nothing in our lives that's not trying to go digital. Everything is trying to go digital. Why not cash? All right. And you think the government is going to invent their own way of creating electronic cash? No, they're going to come to crypto and say, how did you do it? Let's license that technology. I'm just saying. Assignment is, I'll tell you in a second, Donald. Good. Let's go there. Do you mind? Let's go there. By the way, Bitcoin is the best return on investment of all asset classes, bar none, for years. Now, the problem is the drawdown. If you chase it at the top, you got blown out. If you use my logic, you can't beat it. It's the happiest trade ever. Okay. All right. So Tesla is a good example. Okay. So somebody said, what is an assignment? In options, they are contracts. When you do something with options, you buy a right. So when you buy a put, you buy the right to sell stock. So for example, if I bought one put in Tesla at 200 and I own shares in Tesla, I reserve the right, not the obligation, to sell my shares at 200 at any point in time. The stock price can be at 206, it could be at 0. I can call them and assign somebody my shares. I can give them my shares. So if you were the seller of that put, you may wake up one day being assigned shares. That happened to me several times. And the first time it's scary. You woke up, oh my God, I've got shares. And then you look at the price and the shares have rallied. Best example is somebody in the live room. His name is Dave. He's been with me like 9 years. He sold puts in Boeing, and Boeing closed at his price. He woke up on Monday owning shares. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, he reaches out. He's like, oh, cuss. I've been assigned shares of Boeing. Boeing opens up 11%. That was the time when the Max news came out that it was ready to being let go from jail. And he was assigned shares, and the next morning they were up 11%. So he kept the money he sold the puts for, and he sold the stock for an 11% goose on top of it. So that's what getting assigned. For example, if you love Tesla here, let's say you love Tesla, but you're afraid, you would rather buy it at 173. I would go up to January, 89 days on the clock, and say, you know what, folks, I want some Tesla shares. Anyone would like to give me their shares by January for 173? I'm yours right now. They'll pay you $1,000. Credit goes into your account for $1,000 for you to promise to buy 100 shares of Tesla in 89 days. $1,000 goes into your account. That's it. And you may wake up one day getting assigned shares at that price. And what happens to this position? Poof, it's gone. So let's say the price falls. This position will be so red because that $1,000 would turn into $2,000 or worse, $3,000. But it's paper losses. If you don't sell it, the put, you say, hey, I want shares. Give me your shares. So when a price gets down to here and you wake up owning shares at 173, this put position disappears. It's gone. The $1,000 stays. So now your break-even point is $10 below this. So you break even at 163. So if you wake up getting assigned at 173 and the stock price is at 165, you wake up, you own shares, and it's like, I changed my mind. You sell your shares, you made $2 and $10 that you kept. So you made $12 per share. So that's how proof positive that using options in one way is safer than actually using stock. Now, please, this is not a trade alert. This is Tesla stock. It can go to 80. I just told you. Then you would lose $100 per share. Nobody should sell a naked put ever, if they've never done it before, or if they're not willing and able to buy puts. And the nuance here, if you sell puts in Tesla, puts in IBM, puts in Microsoft, puts in this, and they all look great individually, and then the markets crash, and suddenly you're being put all four, that account will be under pressure. So stagger the time frames. So if you sell a put in Tesla in January and you want to sell another put in Microsoft, make it a different month because you want to stagger the demand on your bank account. Okay, so that's the assignment question.
Right. Did we talk about oil already?
We did not talk about oil, but I almost don't want to, but I will.
Your favorite. Yeah,
My favorite. So I've shorted every oil rally this year and last, and I won, and I'm shorting Exxon this time, and I'm losing. I haven't given up on it. I'm just shorting the chart and the logic. I don't buy into the logic. I could be wrong. We'll see.
Right. No, there's definitely a lot happening out there in the markets, Nick, and it just goes to show that the opportunity is there, right? But then also the opportunity to do it the right way, not to learn by, making mistakes and hopefully learning something, right? But yeah, that's the value there, folks.
Yeah, the oil trade is difficult because you have people lying to us from all angles. OPEC's lying, Russia's lying, the White House is lying, everybody's lying. All I know is we're using less of it. The laws are making it so you shouldn't be using much of it. All car makers are saying they're not going to have fossil fuel cars within the next 12, 13, 14 years, whatever it is. I don't think it's doable, but that's what they say. We're flying less, we're zooming more, we're telecommuting more. Consumption has not gone back to pre-COVID levels. So where's the exuberance? I think it's more of an oil policy problem rather than an oil supply and demand problem. So I'm just arguing with the logic. That's it. I could be wrong. And this time I'm red. I was red in my prior shorts, but I won. So let's see if I can win again.
Right. So let's take some tickers here from the chat, Nick. Let's roll a couple tickers there.
Let's do it.
In the meantime, let's do something. Affirm's trading like with the other ones, but what is your thought on Affirm? No?
I like the model. How many times you go to check out and it says pay now, a lump sum, or this with Affirm? I mean, come on. It's everywhere. It's a great business. I wouldn't give up on it. It's just, I would rather be long Square. They kind of trade together. So let me tell you one thing though. If you want to go long all of these companies, you can go long the IWM. It's a blanket trade on all of the stocks that look like Cathie Wood.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And we also have Mary Trades in the chat. Steve Delaney.
Hey, my happiest trader ever.
And we have another member there, Steve Delaney says, Nick,
hey, Steve.
Class is the best. I have tried a lot of YouTube live channels and few private classes. Nick is the best at explaining and teaching. He's so dedicated on helping everyone. Best investment I made was joining his class. I was afraid of options until this class. He taught me how to take advantage of them.
These are people that don't have to be here. They're with me all day, every day, and they pop in here, make it a point to take more time to pop in here after being with me probably on Sunday morning earlier today. I appreciate it. Please respond to my question. Yes, sir, ma'am. What is your question? I don't read the chat. I'm giving a presentation. What is your question? Please join. Oh, Netflix. What is the question? Be specific. Okay.
We have John D also in the YouTube chat. There's a ton of members here. They always come to these sessions, which is cool. It's fine. I mean, it's more learning. It's fun.
All right. So Netflix, we have our ticker. You sold it at 278. And where's the question? You sold it at 270. Oh, you're short at 278. Ah, that's the question. Yikes. That's what I have to say. Okay. So, question to you. One, remember, why did you short it? What was your specific reason? Why? The reason, the NTNT. What was the T? Okay. So you don't have to answer me that. That's a question for you. If that you don't have, then why are you short? If you do have, see if it's still there. Two, have you hit your exit point, the pain, your stop loss? When you took a trade, you should have an exit strategy if things go well or if things go bad. You say, if I hit 15% or I hit my target, I'm out. If I hit X% loss, I'm out. Or if it loses a level, I'm out. So in this case, the question is back to you. If you want to ask me about the chart, it has open air above it. There's a big giant gap. I think there is resistance from the 300 area, even though there's a gap. I think I want to be short into the next earnings report because I think the CEO was relieved. They went back to growth and didn't design the growth. And he also is trying to change Wall Street's opinion and focus from number of subs to dollars in revenue growth. I don't think he's going to be able to do it in one quarter. I think he's going to next time talk about revenue growth, and the Wall Street is going to be focused on this one. Twitter did that. It took a few quarters. I don't remember how many and a whole bunch of Josh Brown pumping on CNBC in order to refocus from here to here. And I think next quarter, if they come out smaller growth, they're going to come right back down to earth. I wouldn't want to invest in Netflix. I was long into the earnings. I booked my longs at the open and never looked back. If I was short, I would assign a number of pain I'm willing to take and get out at the risk of it doing this. If I was short, I would stop my bleeding by taking a bullish position against me to help me wait it out. I don't know how you're short. You say you sold it. I don't know what you sold and what and when, all of that.
Right. And then we have Camille asking on Snapchat.
Forget about it. Garbage company, garbage management, decision-making process. It's off of my watch list. I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. Let's look at the chart. Yeah. Again, it's a yeah. In case you didn't know, Snapchat is a camera company. Yes, don't take my word for it. Take the company's word for it. It's I thought I had the overhead here. What is this? Is this yeah? I thought I had the overhead. They're a giant camera company. Today I noticed this guy here. I've never noticed this guy before. Dinosaur. How about Lucid? Not my favorite company. Lucid problem. I remember when they called it the Tesla killer. I said it's not even a Neo killer. It's that awesome technology, but if you can't make it, you can't sell it. I don't care how good of a car it is. Make the goddamn thing already. How many have they produced? 500. So keep up with their production. That's their Achilles heel. So if you think you want to own the stock for years, just buy some and hold it and don't look at it every quarter. But what's their production? 10,000 cars? Neo sells 70,000 and it's crap Neo. I don't care how good this technology is. I'll tell you a story. Today I told it to my members in the morning. I live in Southern California, which is Tesla country, right? Electric vehicles are everywhere. I've been seeing Rivian on the street for a couple of years. Last night, I went inside my little town. At a red light, there was a Rivian next to me and a Rivian across from me. So I would bet on Rivian before I would bet on Lucid from that perspective. They're both good cars. I wouldn't buy either, especially for the money they're asking. But as far as production, I haven't seen one Lucid on the street, and I've seen many Rivians, a crap ton of Polestars. Can you believe it? And the Tesla, they were half the community in my neighborhood have Teslas in their driveways. Not me, but if you walk around the community, it's 70 houses. I bet you 35 of them have Teslas in their driveways. So I've seen Lightning F-150, two of those, tons of Rivian. I've even seen 2 Rivian vans, the delivery Amazon vans. I've never seen one Lucid ever. I've seen Polestars. I've seen even a couple of those funky little things. I forgot what they're called. So I'm just telling you, where are those cars?
Right. And Steve, a member from the chat, says, Nick, explain PLTR and how you're using options to own it. Great example.
Oh, yeah. Steve, so Palantir, I sold a put spread at 8 last week, and it expired for maximum gains for somebody that didn't close it. So I like the story of Palantir. They're almost a $2 billion company. I think the market now is coming into their hand of intelligence, artificial intelligence. So it took a while to get them here. It's an old company, but the market came to them, as they say. So now the acceleration from here, the fruits of their labor will become faster, kind of like Roku did. Roku spent 16, 17 years losing money, and finally everybody's streaming, and now it's their gig. Same with Palantir. Up until now, artificial intelligence was like a cool thing that, companies did put on their repertoire. Oh yeah, we've got artificial intelligence to play chess or whatever. But now it's a real thing. So I like it. So I said, I'm owning some shares. I did buy a small lot of shares. And I said, I want to sell put spreads. I really wanted to sell puts naked, like I did with Bito, to own shares. But then I thought, if the market crashes, Palantir is going to get cut in half through no fault of its own. So I'm going to start it out as a put spread, right? So in hindsight, I didn't need to. But if I had been assigned shares at 770, I would have made money like that instantly. I would have sold the shares at the open and made money instantly. But they didn't assign me. So I will repeat that trade again.
Right. And there's another stock here that, I find it very interesting. AI. So it's like an AI company. They have good numbers, but the chart is really.
No. AI, that's Siebel. If you remember Siebel Systems, John Siebel, I think is his name, the guy that started it. He started it to sell it, and it's not selling. That's my opinion. So he's dressing up the P&L to look good, and it's not selling the company. So it's a buyout candidate, in my opinion, and I'm not going to buy it and hope for that. Look at that chart. That chart is completely broken. So it's up to you to do the homework on the company itself. I don't have time.
Okay. We have Evan,
between this and Palantir, I prefer Palantir.
Okay. And Evan on the chat asking, Wish turnaround thoughts.
No. Okay. So this is a stock I've traded before. Okay. There's something wrong when you look at the P&L and you see this, and then you see that in the stock. I'm going to tell you a story. My son was able to buy. First of all, I've fallen for their website so many times. You see something advertised for a good price, you click on it to go buy it. They say they're based in San Francisco.
No, I don't know.
I don't think so.
They sell crack pipes and everything there.
Yeah. So anyway, so I clicked to buy something many times, and it wants me to download a driver's license or something to prove that I'm me. So I was, oh, you want me to verify that it's me so I can spend money on your platform? Screw you. So one day I get package on the door, and it's some Joe Blow name I don't know. So I was like, okay. I told my son, anybody you recognize on our street with this name? He goes, no, that's me. I was like, what do you mean that's you? He goes, yeah, I went on Wish and I bought something with a fake name. Like, how the hell did you buy something with a fake name? So that was the last time I looked at Wish stock. No, don't invest in it. If you're already invested in it, do not add to your investment. I cannot believe the SEC. It's going to get delisted. This is what was happening to Novavax, and then they reverse split. So maybe it gets a reverse split and it spikes on that. Get rid of it.
Right. Yeah. So we've gone over a couple stocks here.
Sketchy for sure. Donald, you said that. Sketchy indeed.
Right. Yeah. So, folks, we've been here for quite a while here. I mean, a solid. Well, I mean, it's up to you, Nick. Right? Always, but
we'll do one more ticker. Come on, we're at it. Listen,
I could go all day, man. Like, you know.
No, I can't go all day. My eyes are dead. I have prescription eye drops. What's going on?
All right, so let's get one more ticker there from the chat. We're gonna pick one, and we're gonna pretty much make that the final ticker here. After that, I'm just gonna show you guys really quick the live room where Nick is posting all the trades for all you guys that joined. And if you have questions, you know, we'll have a little Q&A for a couple of minutes there. So Alba asking about, is that Berkshire?
Yeah, that is BRK.B. Little tidbit. The XLF is the banking ETF, right? The biggest component of the XLF, Berkshire, like 12 or 13% of it, and it's not even a bank. So this is going to insult some people. So Berkshire's small stock. My concern, first of all, the portfolio of businesses they own is, I'm not qualified to give any input on it, okay? It's done by geniuses behind the scenes. Therein lies the risk. So this company is Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger of late. They're both about 1,000 years old. And God forbid that headline comes out. They're both extremely sharp. It's unbelievable how sharp they are for the age they are at. It's just, I have like amazing respect for these guys. But I fear like Icon and those two guys and any stock that has the name of a person in it, like whatever that other younger guy is, I forgot what his name, the guy from Herbalife, Ackman, any company that's tied to a person where the person's name is in the headline, I'll be bracing for that headline. I would buy the dips for sure in Berkshire. At this point, from a weekly perspective, this is a weekly chart. You see how it's topping lower highs, trying to hold the floor, and the floor is creeping lower. It was here, now it's here. I think that rallies will be sold. Not feverishly. I mean, I'm not talking debacles, will be sold. And if they don't go to here and make progress versus that, they're more likely to drift lower one more time. So below 260, it becomes more attractive. And what the hell is this? I understand this was a pandemic reaction and all kinds of funky stuff we're going to live with. Let's say the markets crash, set an alert. In fact, I'm going to do it right now. That's a quality company, right? You don't have to even look at the fundamentals because you know what's inside. They own bulletproof businesses, right? So I'm going to add an alert to get long. Here, maybe even here to start looking long. No, I'll just keep one down below. Down here, I will just say load up. And load up, you idiot. Because that's a note to me when I'm scared when markets are falling. You got to give yourself some courage, some encouragement in the future. So rallies will be sold. So if it does rally to here and I'm not long, I would wait. I would buy the dip. All right.
Right. Definitely. So there you go for Berkshire. Nick, any closing remarks here on the markets, the chat room?
Yes. First of all, don't trade alone. Get friends. I have 300 for you if you want them. They're all cool people. Men, women, young and old, all over the world. We are spread out. We have Arabs, we have Turkish, we have from China, we have Russians, we have Germans, we have Australians. So Canadians for sure, eh? So we're a good collection of people and it's total fun. So you reduce your mistakes and you find more entry opportunities and exit warnings. As far as what to do with the market this week. So don't listen to the collective out there. Use your own logic. The reaction this week is going to be based on most likely Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, they're still riding the Netflix high. That's good. Netflix is the F in Fang, right? Or the N is in Fang. And so the Fang gang should follow what Netflix did, unless they deliver turds. And if they deliver turds, then you should be open to the fact that the SPX could and should go back and close that gap in the low 3,600. So that's warning number one. So keep that in mind. All right.
All right, Nick Shaheen, lead trader from the Options Inner Circle chat room. Big shout out there. All right. Thanks a lot, man. I'll see you in the chat room tomorrow, right?
Yes, for sure. I have to go do some homework and answer some questions that came in while I was on the phone. I was with you guys.
All right, I'll probably pop in there for a quick trade tomorrow. We'll see. But thanks a lot, Nick Shaheen, for all the work here. We'll see you in the chat room tomorrow. For all the folks here
See you tomorrow.
Yeah, all right, brother. And for all the folks that did join, and those that are kind of, thinking about it, I just want to show you really quick the chat room, right? So you can see where everything goes. There's two channels. There's the Inner Circle chat where everybody's posting, including Nick, right? And this chat room is open 24/7. It doesn't close. So this is, again, open the whole day. Then in the other channel, Nick's important messages, he's going to post a link every morning about 8:30 a.m. You click on that link right here. You have to download the free conference call thing right here. And that takes it to the live session, okay, where Nick is talking, showing his screen, just kind of like how we were here, right? The same thing. You can see his chart. You can ask him questions at any point and, have that live trading support with him the entire day. The indexes will be charted every morning as well in this post. As you can see, the SPY, Qs, IWM, small caps, and then the futures as well. I'm getting into futures with E-Trade. Again, we're not recommending E-Trade or anything like that specifically. I just happen to use that brokerage, and they let you trade futures there. So I know there's a ton of other futures traders as well that in this chat room that go from these charts as well, right? From Nick. And you can ask him about it at any point. You can ask any question about anything in the chat room, right? If you want to learn about credit call spreads or credit put spreads or condors, butterflies, if you want to learn a specific strategy that, fits your schedule, right? Your schedule, because not everybody has the ability, time-wise or skill-wise, right? To take on a new strategy. And that's really why the support is so important. Having a mentor, a teacher, educator, best friend that can basically help you knock out all those trades, right? And make less mistakes. It's not just about getting winners. It's also about managing your losers. So risk management, very important. We highly encourage responsible trading. And that's why we put a lot of education into the trades and everything so that you learn as you see the markets, right? It's not just the theoreticals, it's the practical stuff, the real time learning, trading as we go through the market day, right? So this is the link, right? Just for you guys to know, the blue chat room, just so you know you are here. And the other thing that I wanted to show you are these videos really quick. This is something that really helped me out a lot. And if you're new to options, or if there are some gaps that you can improve and kind of complete, close out all the loose ends on all the different types of option trades, the risk, how to manage them. I really think you should go through these videos, right? Everything from the most basic thing, like what are options and puts, definitions, uses, to what is a spread, call options, credit put spreads. That's the moneymaker. That's the big breadwinner there for Nick's chat room. He loves doing those types of trades. It's a full 17-minute video, direct explanation with with the trades there, how to set them up and everything. These two are very important. Risk management, when to book or set a stop loss, and when and how to book profits. All right. I think it's important you guys manage your winners, manage your losers. Again, it's not just about having good trades. It's about controlling the bad trades also. Okay. This is a quick video on why we use the SPX versus the SPY when it comes to trading certain types of option trades there, right? So it's cash settled and it works differently with assignment and things like that. So very important to really look into this because we do have a daily iron condor that Nick will put out. It's after the open. Sometimes he'll pretty much just, put it there in the chat, let you guys know in the session. Again, this is a trade that it's a daily expiration SPX iron condor. Some days, it's better to not do an iron condor and do something else, but pretty much like, we strive to put out that daily iron condor there. Gary, is this for beginners to watch? Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think you should watch this. Everybody should watch this. Donald says this is the only place to start. They have trading legends here. They have all the initial education here as well. Yeah, like this is your one-stop shop, Gary. Okay, like we are the retail trading community. Okay, like this is it. It's Benzinga, and these chat rooms manifest that, right? Once you get in there, you're going to see all these other traders that are, doing well and learning right together, and you're going to feel part of something bigger, right? It's a great community. It's like Nick said, over 350 people more like there in some cases live. So imagine everybody learning from each other, because you're going to learn even just from reading like the live room. For example, if you're relatively new, like, and you really don't know much, everything is going to be knowledge for you. It's so like your learning curve is only going to move higher from here. And in some cases, your learning curve can drop, maybe if you're following the wrong people, if you're trying to trade alone, that sort of stuff. If you're not trading with a community, right? So, or like you're listening to people that maybe are, don't have your direct trading interests, right? Like maybe news and things like that. But in the live room, right? Remember, I'm not a journalist or reporter, neither is Nick. We're just traders. That's it. And we look at this from a trading perspective. So that's really important, right? Having that clarity, having that transparency when it comes to trading, because you have to be agnostic to the markets if they go up or down. At least, in my personal case, like I'm either going to buy calls or I'm going to buy puts on the market itself, the QQQ, the NASDAQ. So other people like to trade stocks. Other people like to do spreads. So everybody has a different style. And really, it just comes down to like finding what goes with you, right? Like what is the risk that you're willing to take, and have a plan, have a strategy, like Nick said, right? No trigger, no trade. And there's many different, little lessons, if you will, right? That we go over in the chat room. Mohammed, let me put the link there in for you, man. 1 second. But yeah, Donald, like this is definitely the place to start. This chat room is amazing. The community there is amazing. I've probably, signed up like 90+% of the people that are there since we launched it last year. And it's great. The people are great. They love it. And it's really good. It's actually helping traders. So I think it's great, and everybody should start here because not only do you get the education, but you get also the trades, learning while you're earning, right? I wish that somebody would have been paying me when I went to college. So yeah, this is really why it's a unique platform. We pretty much created this chat room here. So big shout out there to Vin and Tammy. We do have a bunch of developers and coders working on this chat room. And it's nonstop, right? This is an operation that we're going to keep growing. This chat room is only going to get better as we continue to, like, for example, the Sunday sessions, great thing. Then we added the live sessions, like webinar style. That's super huge for people, like actually having a tutor, mentor, instructor live with you the entire day. Live call outs, posting trades for people that maybe have a full-time job also, iron condors or credit put spreads. He will post those in the blue chat room. But for the fast traders or the people that want immediate communication with Nick, right, where you can talk to him real time, and when he's showing his charts and talking, right, you would join that session. This is the video from Sunday. So somebody was asking, are those sessions recorded? Yes, all the Sunday sessions will be posted. This is one of those videos.
Right, good morning, folks.
This is the one from today, actually. So yeah, hundreds of stocks there that you can look. Let me just click on this link. because it's going to have all of the tickers, right? So let's see how many we got in today. We have 97. So we have 97 tickers there so that you guys can review. So just make sure that for all you guys that did join, check these charts, right? Individually. They all have different charts. You can find trade opportunities here as well. And it's going to help you with your technical analysis as well and getting Nick's perspective on all these stocks, right? So any questions, folks? I'm going to put the contact there in the chat. So just feel free to reach out if you do have questions on the live room. And big shout out for everybody that's here. Have a great Sunday. Have a great day, folks. Happy trading tomorrow. I will see you in the chat room and I'll see you there with Nick. All right, folks.